Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Theatergoers. I'm your man, Tony. This is my guy,
What
Tafari, and
up?
we might have Tyrion with us. It's the Triple T party right now. You already know what it is. Today, we're talking about, oh man, I'm excited for today's episode because the movie we're talking about, the director is one of my favorite directors in movies right now, Quentin Tarantino. We're talking about his ninth film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I'm just going to tell you guys right off the bat, if you're a Tarantino fan, like you've seen at least a bunch of his movies and things like that, it definitely has his weirdness to it, his type of filming to it. But you know what? I was definitely happy with it. It wasn't exactly what I expected, but it is what it is. You can already look at Tafari. I see your face, man. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Like, what do you think? I want to start with you because clearly you got an
I don't want
opinion.
to say it was trash, but what the hell did I just watch? Like for 2.5 hours, I had no idea what the hell was going on, let alone what connected. Like
It was all the setup, man. It
set
was
up
all
for
the setup,
what?
basically. Well, I mean, I'll say this, right? It definitely wasn't what I expected in terms of, if you guys already know, it's all spoiler alerts here. So if you don't want to hear it, then
Doors
check us
open.
out later or something. But first of all, we saw Charles Manson, who's clearly the bad guy in this movie. Him and his psycho ass hippie followers. Um, we see him Manson in one scene the entire movie. What did you think, T?
Which even scene was that? Was that the one where the dude randomly stumbles into their yard and is like, "Oh, wrong house," and we just never see him again?
Yeah, that one.
That I
That
was
one. That's
so
Manson.
baffled. Like we just never talked about that at all. Like that happened, and it was like, all right, next scene because reasons.
Right. No, I agree. Even in the trailer where you see him waving to Brad Pitt, but like a like the like a way only Charles Manson would do, that like creepy, like, you know wave in the trailer. And we didn't even see that. He literally just showed up, walked up to the house. They said, "Oh, I'm looking for Terry. Terry don't live here no more." He peeked over at Sharon Tate when she was at the door, and then walked away, and we never see him again.
And what was the point of like Sharon Tate the whole movie? She just went and watched her own films for like 3 months, and then we just see her walking out of the theater.
Well, yeah, because I don't know too much about it, but I think the movie she was in was kind of like a big break for her, where she was like the clumsy um, lady who made everybody laugh and whatnot,
Yeah,
and then she went to see it because she was picking up a book apparently for her husband, if I remember the movie correctly, and then the theater was showing it, it was promoting it, and then she was like, "Okay, can I see it? I'm in the movie, blah blah blah." And then she checks it out. I think she saw it more not to like make herself be like, "Oh damn, I did pretty good." No, I think she went to see how the crowd would
yeah, I know. I
react
get that
because
she wanted to
every
go see
time
the
that
crowd
yeah,
react, but like when she's doing it, when she's first at the box office, I didn't even believe that she was really the like. I'm sitting there thinking like, is she not really Sharon Tate and she's just trying to worm her way? Because the way she's like, oh, because the way the girl's like, oh, get a picture of the poster, people know who you are. It makes it seem like she doesn't believe it and like she's gonna get caught. And then you're like, oh, I guess she really is that actor. And I think was she the one who was with
but
Roman Polanski in the
well,
beginning?
well, no, the thing is, I think the chick who is about to give her the ticket or whatever was like, "Nah, I don't believe you. Like, you're just trying to get like a free movie
Yeah.
or something." And then she put on, or she didn't put on the glasses, but like she looks at the poster and is like, looks at the poster is like, "Yeah, yeah, no, it's me. I'm just wearing different clothes and a different." Pretty sure in the movie she was a brunette and not a blonde. So then, and besides, the thing she was extremely happy about when she was watching the movie is when the crowd reacted and reacted positively, like laughing and whatnot to her. Or when she did that stupid karate
Yeah.
scene at the end of
I was like, is her character having a flashback in the movie we're watching, or is her character having a flashback in the movie that she's watching? That was the only part that like the Bruce Lee thing was like the funniest part to me, but then
Oh my
we
god,
saw
so
that come for
funny.
back for like all of 30 seconds, and I couldn't tell if the flashback was happening in our movie or in Sharon Tate's movie.
Um I mean, you could kind of tell. You saw what she was doing like in her movie that she was watching, but then you also saw like her practicing. You saw Margot Robbie practicing with the dude that was playing Bruce Lee. All I know is that Bruce Bruce Lee and Brad Pitt's characters were the funniest
Yeah,
characters in the
Brad
whole movie
Pitt
to
kind of
me.
made the whole like they paid it off as like Leo being possibly the funny one in this movie, but even the scene from the trailer where she's like that was the best acting, like no one really laughed, and some of the parts people were laughing at, I'm like maybe I'm just not in on the joke. But Brad Pitt, he was hilarious the whole film, but I feel like what he was doing the whole movie, I did not. It could have just been called Brad Pitt's Wild Adventure or Stuntman Stories or some shit.
I'll tell you what, this movie made Brad Pitt look like a
It did.
badass though. Espe- Especially the with the final fight and everything. Oh my god, that to me was like, damn.
That's it. Though. I'm like, okay, it's a Tarantino film. There's gonna be violence or somewhere, someplace, everyone dies eventually. I'm just waiting for it. And by the time we get it, I'm like, this just feels random.
Well, because the way they promoted it was he's gonna talk. The movie was about the Manson murders, which for anyone that doesn't know,
I don't.
although you had to be living under. Really, you don't know about it? You
I've heard
didn't.
the name. I've heard references. No one has ever broken down the whole Charles Manson story.
Okay, the main gist of it is Charles Manson basically manipulated a bunch of dumbass hippies who were always tripping on LSD to commit murder. And then the reason that scene where you see Charles Manson coming up to the house and he's like, "Oh, where's Terry? Terry don't live here no more." That part was, for the most part, I think true. And then he was able to convince everyone because, mind you, this is like '69, Woodstock,
Yeah.
LSD, trip mushrooms, everything's like off the chain at the time, right? Vietnam, all that crap, right?
Right.
So then he was able to, and this for anyone else that doesn't know the story either, he was able to convince about, I think the number was three people, just like you saw in the movie. I don't think that fourth chick or that fourth person that left was supposed to be that. I think that was just part of the movie.
Yeah. She was
Um,
smart and dipped.
yeah, she dipped, bro. She is not about it. Um, them three went to Polanski's house or Sharon Tate's house, and just like that, Sharon Tate was there. She was pregnant. She was like 7, 8 months pregnant with a baby. I think the Jay Phillips guy was there. Was there as well, who was played by Emil Hirsch in this movie. The chick from Folgers, she was the actual heir to Folgers Coffee. And then her friend or whatever. I think for the most part everything was true except for how it ended.
Yeah. So when
Like
the narrator kicked in, he was trying to play it off like the movie's timeline mixed in with what really happened.
basically, yeah, all Tarantino did for the most part was everything was true, but he did it from a different perspective in a potential fictional character in Leo's character as that struggling actor and Brad Pitt. He just did it from a different point of view and changed up what actually happened. Instead of these people, Manson's people, going after Sharon Tate and killing all of them, because that one chick in the movie that was like, we gotta kill the actors, man, because they
Yeah.
they
She
made us grow up with
was
violence.
tripping
It was her
heavy.
idea that made them switch to take Leo and Brad Pitt's characters out. But the real story is that these people went to Sharon Tate's house, killed her, like killed everybody else up in there, including the Folgers girl, or it might have been a boy, I'm not sure, but the Folgers there, and they were stabbed, they were shot, everything was like terrible. And
Did they make it
then
look witchy like they were planning to do?
the whole point of what Manson was trying to do was he was trying to start a race war between whites and blacks, and he imagined himself as the leader on the white side, and that he would come to glory through that. But obviously that didn't happen. We're talking about a guy who's been institutionalized his entire life.
Jesus.
And I'm not talking about just prison. I'm talking about mental hospitals, you know. Ledoux was psycho, right? And then, my dad explained it to me because he grew up. He was 15 in 69, so he knows this whole story and everything.
Right.
He grew up with it. Lo and behold, they, they find the gun in a complicated jurisdiction zone between LAPD and the sheriff's department. But then they find the murderers, and the way the prosecutor played it was, he's gonna convince the jury that Manson manipulated all these people because Manson never committed the murders himself.
Right.
His people did it for him. So the prosecutor played it like, okay, I'm gonna convince him that he manipulated them to do it, and he eventually won, and then one of the girls or two of the people got out on parole. I think one guy still there or recently got out on parole. One of the girls is like, yeah, I was absolutely devastated. It was a really bad time in my life. She's like completely reformed. She has a family and kids and everything now. Like she's normal. The other two, I think, are still kind of like,
Yeah.
but and then Manson died a few years ago in prison.
So
So
is that the whole buildup of this movie is to relate to the Manson murders?
yeah, from the format that Tarantino took it with is a different perspective while highlighting the main things like showing Sharon off. She's a great
Yeah.
person. She's hot. She's beautiful. Blah blah blah. Along with Polanski, who was her husband, the other people involved. Blah blah blah. And then, but your main perspective is Leo's character as actor who's basically become a has been, but starts to get kind of reinvigorated.
Right.
And then Brad Pitt's his stunt double and just happens to be a badass and met up with one of Manson's girls, and then look and then went to that former film lot where they all were staying at.
Yeah, and they basically had were taking advantage of his old friend who was apparently blind. Because
Yeah,
then when the girl
no,
started screaming, she's like,
funny fun.
"He's not actually blind. You're the blind." And I'm like, "What is happening here?"
that was definitely weird, man.
That
I'm not
that
gonna
that
lie to you,
threw
but
me for a loop. And then when they put the knife through his tire, I'm just like, "Why? Like you knew this would end badly."
I'll tell you what though, fun fact, the old man, the blind man that was at the film lot in that house,
Yeah,
that was Bruce Stern, right? He's been in a couple of Tarantino's movies. Um, Burt Reynolds was actually supposed to play that character.
really.
But yeah, but then and they got to a table read with Reynolds, but then but then unfortunately, I think it was a year or two ago that he died. He died before they could get any filming done, and then Bruce Dern stepped in.
So this is film number 9, and he's only doing 10. You said right?
Yeah, he this film number 9. He's only doing 10.
So what all? Wait, so I'm seeing. Let me. I see My Best Friend's Birthday, Reservoir Dogs, True Romance, Pulp Fiction, Natural Born Killers, Four Rooms, Dust Till Dawn, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill 1 and 2. He did Sin City.
It wasn't like his movie, but he did work with Robert Rodriguez.
I'm saying, are
The
we
same thing
like are
for
these
like
all films he directed
Death Card.
or wait? I'm on Wikipedia, so I'm trying to. They have like three categories of director, writer, producer. So
I can tell you the ones that were directed by him is Jackie Brown, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill 1 and 2, Inglorious Bastards, um,
Hateful Eight.
Inglorious Bastards, the Hateful Eight, and now Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's seven though. There's two more I'm missing. I can't remember
Django
them.
Unchained was one.
Django Unchained. Oh, that's my favorite one. How could I even forget that? And then there's one more because that's eight. But Death Proof. I think it's his other movie.
I'm trying to because they have all the ones. Oh, he's got writing. Yeah, Death Proof, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, Once
Right,
Upon a Time in Hollywood, Kill Bill.
right.
What is the second? Inglorious Bastards, Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess those are his 9
Yeah.
exclusive in-house films. I don't know what his 10th is going. What
Th-
did he say? Why he's
those
only
are
doing 10?
yeah. Those all the movies we just listed now are all the movies he's credited for as director, as the only director,
Got
not
you.
co-director or anything.
So why stop at
So
10?
with all the stuff he's done with Robert Rodriguez, like Sin City and like Machete, I think he even worked on, but not too much stuff like that. But the nine films we listed on his movie, his direction, his everything. And then yeah, he's only making 10. So I'm gonna try to find a way to get into that 10th movie. I don't care if I'm a corpse or a extra, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna
I
try
would
to
say this
make it,
movie
man.
found a way to create its typical corpses, but by the time they showed up, I was like, this is kind of overkill. What has happened? Like I get that he was tripping balls on LSD, but the fact that he was able to fight 3 people, and then we found a way to bring the flamethrower back into play.
Oh my god, I thought that was awesome though.
I kept thinking, I'm like, is this gonna be another movie where he kills everyone? I literally kept waiting for like parts of people to get shot or something, or get T-boned in a car. And I'm like, no, it's not happening. I'm waiting for the.
I mean, I see what you mean, but they didn't get shot. All that happened to them was they got burnt and they got bit like
Oh, yeah, his
hell,
dog was a G. Jesus.
bro. Oh my god. Other than the fight that Brad Pitt had with Bruce Lee, that final like 20-30 minutes was my favorite part of the movie, only because of how fucking cool the dog was, man.
Yeah, the dog was relentless. And then when he bashed old girl's nose with the can, I was dying.
Me too. Oh man. I'll tell you what though, man. Even just the way he
Gesundheit.
was telling the dog, like, I don't know if you know this, right? He's talking to Tex or whoever.
Yeah.
The dog sat up for a moment, but then Brad Pitt with his hand like said like to the side, like, no, calm down. I'll let you know. And then the dog looked at his thought and like just sat down normally. And I was like, bro, that dog's about to tear these bitches up.
Yeah, when he was just like calm the whole time, I'm just like, I feel like I'm thinking he's gonna get shot, but I don't see it happening because I feel like that dog is just not gonna. No, he bit dude in the crotch and just didn't let go. I'm like, yep, just shoot me.
I think one of the best parts is the fact that it was that moment just before that he decided to smoke the cigarette that was dipped
Yeah,
in
when I saw it
acid.
was the hippies from the ranch, I was like, did they not see him when he was walking the dog? Like nobody recognized him?
That's what I thought. I was like, did nobody recognize him?
And
I
I
guess
thought
I guess they
Leo was
didn't.
gonna
I
get
mean,
like great Gatsby when he went outside to yell at him with that big ass margarita jug.
I guess that's what I thought too. I was like, why didn't they recognize him? But I forget how long it was. It was at least 6 months between and he was in Italy with
Yeah, they
Leo,
went
and then
overseas.
they went overseas. Um, it's so funny because with the last Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino did a spaghetti western, so to speak, with the Hateful Eight. It's hilarious that Leo only did spaghetti westerns before he went overseas, and then when he did go overseas.
Yeah, I didn't realize spaghetti western was a category.
Yeah, it was a really. My dad tells me this. My dad's gonna be included in this because he did a lot of the research was just from him. But spaghetti westerns were a huge thing in that time. That's why that's kind of why, like, for any Clint Eastwood fans, that's how he sort of got his start. He was in like 3 or 4 spaghetti westerns in a matter of like 4 or 5 years, you know.
Hmm.
And then that's all Leo did overseas because Al Pacino, some studio head, really liked him in those. And then 6 months, and then bro, the Manson people were probably high off their
Oh yeah, they
hot,
were
like,
clearly on all the drugs at the end of the movie, and they fought somebody else who was
yeah.
also high on drugs.
So that's probably why they couldn't remember him. Like, maybe they were sober when they first saw him, but they were high off their nuts when they came through to the house.
Yeah, it was. They were on some shit, but by the time we got there, I'm just like, what is happening? Like, I appreciate all the violence right now. It was worth the wait, but I have so many questions.
I'm not gonna lie, the entire movie, the one thing I was super curious about was, I know Tarantino's violent. He's a bloody guy, like
Exactly.
all of his movies. And so the whole movie, I'm like, how is this gonna go down? Like, is he gonna, like, piss some people off? Like, are people gonna take this the wrong way or be
I thought he
offended
was
or,
gonna
like,
fight 20
run out
hippies at the
throwing
ranch.
up? Right, because I'm thinking, like, and he has a history of doing this. I'm thinking, like, oh, he's about to like, destroy Sharon, Margot Robbie. They're gonna look so freaking bloody
Yeah, I thought
and
it was gonna be like, what was that movie that came?
a
I thought
massacre,
what was the
right?
movie that came out like 10 years ago? Strangers. I thought it was gonna be like that movie, The Strangers, with those
Oh,
people
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
woods.
Bloody as hell, right? Like, destroy. Like, everybody's dead. Everybody's, like, cut and
Yeah, he was
bleeding
like,
and
make it
shit.
witchy. I'm like, this is about to be some cult.
And this is his
Yeah,
style.
I'm like, okay,
Like,
he's
you've
clearly
seen it in
leading
other
up to the
movies.
violence. And I'm like, nope, it's just a Brad Pitt beatdown, which was hilarious. Like when he got the redhead and just he kept hitting the redhead. I'm like, dude, you won like 10 punches ago. Stop.
Dude, now, are you talking about that one chick that he kept hitting her head on
Yeah, the one who was the little
stuff?
the thought that was being rude to him at the door.
The redhead,
Yeah, the one
yeah.
who kept trying to block him at the door and was like, you don't need to go see him. He's sleeping.
Dude, yo, you know why I think he did that? Why he, like, took it to that extreme? Because she stabbed him. She's the one who stabbed him in the hip.
Yeah. He literally just saw the stab.
So
I'm like, he's high. He probably doesn't even feel it, but still.
he didn't, and the adrenaline too. So that's why he was like, when he saw the knife in his hip, he was like, bitch. And then he grabbed the boom,
Yeah, hit her against like the
boom,
nightstand, the
boom,
fireplace, the
boom.
table.
Dog, the wall, the fireplace, the picture, the poster, the table, and then he was like, okay, she's dead. I'm good.
Yeah, then he goes and caves the other dude's face in, and then the chick just runs out into the. When she finally gets to Leo in the pool, he's just mad confused. I was dying.
He was just like, what the hell? He, like, threw up his radio and headphones and everything. Oh, man, bro. I did not expect the flamethrower,
When he
though.
came and got it, I was like,
didn't see
yes.
that coming.
The only thing in this movie that has come full circle was the flamethrower. I was confused though
When
because
he
like the
walked into
narrator
the shed,
was like almost nowhere in the film. Then he's everywhere at the end of the film, and then we have like the tiny little bits where it's like, bullshit. He got his license taken away and blah blah blah. Like kind of like how they gave all the backstories in Inglourious Bastards. We got like 2 of
yeah.
those in the first hour, and I thought we were getting like a couple throughout the movie. So it just kind of felt like underkill in the beginning, overkill towards the end. Because we keep getting all these like times and dates, and I'm like, where were you the whole film to explain what the hell I'm looking at?
Nah, you're right, man. And then I agree with you. The flamethrower is pretty much the only thing that came full circle. But bro, when he walked into that shed, I'm thinking like, oh damn, he about to like
I
murder
thought he
this
was
girl
just
with like
running
a
and hiding. That's
shotgun
what
or
me and the whole
something.
theater laughed. We thought he was like doing what the dog. We
Hiding.
thought he was doing what the dog did, like begging to get in the house and was just gonna stay inside and peep from the window. And then he comes out with the flamethrower. I did a solo clap because I was just everyone was laughing. I'm like, okay, never mind. We're shit's getting real.
Oh man, bro, he lit that chick
I kept thinking he was
up
gonna get hit
too,
by a stray
man.
bullet, but he didn't. Thank God.
Yeah. No, because this chick that had the gun, after this dude lost it, the one that got burnt was just shooting it in the air.
Yeah, I was like,
She
please don't
wasn't
let
gonna
this
hit
man get hit by a
nobody.
stray bullet from someone who wasn't even aiming. Also, she's underwater. The gun should be just useless now.
No, you never know, man. They make guns that could take anything these days, but especially then. No, I agree. I think the gun was not gonna work, but she did point it at him right before he lit
Right.
her ass up. So, but man, I'm so glad he
Yeah,
won.
I was like, I was like, please
Yo,
don't like let him get all this way. And then she aims at him like he gets his bullet. A bullet hits like his pack and he explodes or something stupid. I would be like offended to see him make it this
no,
far just for it to end like that.
nah, he couldn't do Leo like that, man. He couldn't do it like that. And then even the Italian chick got some.
Yeah, his wife who
She
came out of
punched the
nowhere in like the
ginger.
last hour. He got married after being in Europe for like what 3 months.
He got married. Yeah, he got married in Rome. 6 months, like 3, 4 movies or something like that.
That's crazy. I guess it was back then, and when they were talking about like millimeter film. I guess you could make a movie in that amount of time, especially seeing how movies back then weren't that long.
And then at the same time, it was the same studio, the same actor, the same director for the most part too. So that probably played a factor in it. He could have just moved on from like one set to the next,
Right.
you know.
Oh, let's
But
let's see how they did number wise. If I remember where I put this information. So
I think it hit 150.
did okay. I see. What is it? Opening weekend coming in at 41.08 million, which is I think his highest opening weekend yet, if I remember correctly. I don't know how much Django did, but apparently it was close. So
I
people
think
love
Django was
Quentin
the best one.
Tarantino.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it. But yeah, they were like as of now, they're definitely in the hundreds of millions.
that's what was predicted for them when they were making the film too.
I mean, so I guess it's
So
good if you hit your
it seems to
target
be
at
heading
least.
in. Yeah, it's definitely heading in the right direction. Um, but I understand that you're still just like, what the hell did I watch for like 2 hours?
I was just baffled. By the way, I want to say this for people who worked in it, as someone who worked in the theater. A bad movie experience means you didn't get to finish the film. Not I didn't like it and I want my money back. Don't be that person.
Thank you. Yes, do not be that person, guys. Um, so, I listen. It's still a good movie to me because we didn't talk about this. We have to talk about the fight, the Bruce Lee fight, bro.
Dog, that was when he threw his little ass into the car. I was dying.
Like, listen, I knew he was gonna respond to like when Bruce Lee kicked him to the ground. I just didn't think he was gonna throw him into the
Yeah, he
car.
was just
Like,
cool and unbothered about everything. And then when he's like, try it again. I'm like, he's gonna toss him or something because he was just too cool the whole movie. And I'm like, he does not care, even that he just got like fired for that. So then he throws him in, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" He's trying to kill your leading man.
oh man, I thought besides the final scene, I thought that was the best part of the whole movie, man.
Yeah,
That shit made me laugh, dude.
I said, "Was that like Bruce Lee's era?" I don't really know his timeline.
No, yeah, he was doing the Green Hornet show. He was Kato on there.
Oh right, Green Hornet. I saw. I remember the movie was based off a previous title that I never saw.
Right. Um, That's why he was dressed in that like all black like limo driver outfit because
Right. Okay.
in the right in the show The Green Hornet he's the driver, but he's also the badass pretty much too. Um, but yeah, and then these hands are registered as lethal weapons. Jesus. Anybody that kills anybody in a fight goes to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Yeah, was again his parts that were shown in the trailer were actually funny to me, whereas Leo's were like didn't deliver the same way it did when you made me or convinced me to come watch this film. So he did
Yeah.
his
Um.
he did his thing. They both played their roles well. Don't get me wrong. It's just the overall story. I was just confused as to how it all converges. And then by the time we get to the end of like the fact that the narrator kicked in, it was like this person was here at 6:33 p.m. This person was. I'm like, you could have been had you been doing this the whole film. It would have made more sense. The fact that you're doing this now, after we watch all these people do random things for months, is baffling.
I think what he was sort of going for was not only the different perspective, but to highlight all the things about Sharon Tate and why, like, when she was murdered, it was such a like a earthquake type of event for like Hollywood. And then at the same time, basically, he was setting you up for this for the most part. He was setting you up so that one, you kind of like zone out, kind of doze off almost with the story,
Damn near,
and
yeah.
then yeah, but at the same time, you're really waiting for that moment when she finally gets murdered, and then he completely flips her. He's done this before, where he changes the real life events. He did it in *Inglourious Bastards* because Hitler never died until 1945, but this successful operation to kill him worked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like when they actually killed Hitler, I was like, okay, this isn't clearly not a true story, but it's cool. I just didn't like
Yeah,
how again I didn't realize till I was older. Okay, he kills off everyone in every movie. I was like, what is the point of introducing Stiglitz and then he dies for like no reason like 30 minutes later, and then these dudes were they planning to bomb themselves anyway?
yeah,
On top of shooting
yeah,
up Hitler?
yeah.
Like what was the plan? Was it to blow up Hitler or shoot Hitler? Because we did both, and it didn't seem like we needed to do both. And on top of that, you got the other
Well,
chick who burns the film, and I guess that guy escaped, but then the other chick gets choked out with like no fight whatsoever.
Well, remember, they didn't know about each other. Like the squadron with Brad Pitt, the bastard, and the French chick. They didn't know about each other's plans.
That's
She
what threw
wanted
me off. It was like I'm trying to follow it, and I couldn't tell who was in on what plan, and realized there was three separate ones happening.
when she realized the Nazis were coming to her theater. She wanted to burn it down and murder them all herself. She didn't care about the theater. She was supposed to make it out along with her boyfriend, her assistant, right?
Right.
But then she got killed. I don't know what happened to her boyfriend, the black guy. I don't know what happened to him,
I'm
but
pretty sure he
I'm
found a way out.
assuming
He was like the only person near an exit that didn't get like burned.
that's what I think. I think he got out, and then obviously he realized that this chick didn't survive or whatnot. And then these guys, their main focus was Goring, Goebbels, or Boring, Goebbels, Hitler, and whoever else. They were gonna blow it up anyway, too. But then they see the fire. The guys like Lonnie and that other guy said, "To hell with it. Let's just kill as many as we can now, and then we'll just die."
So,
It's very rare that everybody survives in a Tarantino
yeah,
movie.
I was
You,
like, so you guys are planning like, how did Brad Pitt convince you guys to blow yourselves up for the cause?
right. It happened in The Hateful Eight. It happened in Reservoir Dogs. It happened for the most part in the Kill Bill movies, except for like the hero.
Right.
Very rare does everybody survive a Tarantino movie.
All right. Since we're in our last 10 minutes, do we want to jump into our
Yeah.
movie memorial segment or whatever we're gonna call this? So 11 years ago, this August, we lost the Mac Man himself, the legendary Bernie Mac.
Friday the 9th, it'll be 11 years.
Man, Bernie was. I wish he was still here because I'm like I've always had like this. I always take original Kings of Comedy with me, but then when I look back on
Yeah.
it, the only comedy I have is this and like his old Def Jam VHS tapes. Like only way you know some of his
Yes.
jokes
Yes.
is through other comedians or if you went and saw him live. Because like, I remember I saw Eddie Griffin live and he told like one of his bits was like how he met time and it was hilarious.
I'll tell you, I wasn't a Bernie Mac fan. His movies were kind of like, whatever, like hit or miss. Kevin Hart, his movies too. But I'll tell you what made me such a fan of him: his Def Jam stand-ups, or just his stand-ups. Period.
Exactly. Especially because in Kings of Comedy is like what got him like more movie roles. Because when he did the little outtake, and he's like, "You won't give me
Right.
a role because you scared of me. You scared I'm gonna say something. You probably right." And they actually took a chance. Gave him what was it? The Bernie Mac show. He did a Guess Who with Ashton Kutcher. I still haven't seen Bad
Right.
Santa or Ocean's 11 all the way through. He did Madagascar. He was in Transformers, the Expected Gadget show. What else? I think it was Ocean's 12, Mr. 3000, Charlie's Angels, Head of State. He did a few episodes of King of the Hill. He was in Moesha. He was in Life with uh, Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. The Players
He was in
Club, How
Pride.
to Be a Player. What was the one I just scrolled past? Oh yeah, he was Old Dogs Transformers. Yeah, he was the guy who sold Shia LaBeouf the car in Transformers.
Right. And he was in Pride with Terrence Howard.
That one too. That was a good one.
Yep.
So he definitely
No,
had enough
it's
credentials to speak for himself. And then he was in Fridays, the hustler preacher.
hmm
So
No, I definitely, like I mentioned, he was a fan. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he died of pneumonia, but like 20 years before that, he was diagnosed with something called sarcoidosis, which is just like when random inflammatory cells grow around your body.
yeah,
It's super rare, and it's not exactly fatal unless unless someone gets like extensive damage to like the organs or like the brain and things like that. But I'll tell you what, the pneumonia didn't help. You know.
I'm noticing like because I had a couple. I had a old coworker. He was like my supervisor when I was in school. He passed over like one of my winter breaks. Apparently, like when your body gets attacked like that by anything, because he had like heart issues. He had like fluid leaking in his heart or something.
Right.
While you're in recovery, your body's basically in a weakened state, and it is easier to get pneumonia, and that apparently finishes off a lot of people. Because they were like, "Oh yeah, Brian had a
Right.
heart issue." I'm like, "Well, how'd he die? Pneumonia." I was like, "What?" So my mom, because she's a nurse, she explains that when they're in recovery, I don't know how, but like pneumonia is easier to catch, and if they get it, they usually don't make it out, especially if they're older. Because Bernie was 50 when
Oh
he
yeah.
died, believe it or not, and then I think Charlie Murphy was like what 45. So I feel like a lot of these
The same
comedians are
around the same age. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Like apparently, because Eddie talked about this too in his stand. He's like, we used to land in a city on Monday. Charlie would go get chemo on Tuesday, and then by like Wednesday morning, he would be back up and ready for a show, and no one knew anything was wrong until he died, which threw me
Yeah.
off because it's weird that I don't know because he was hilarious on the Chappelle show.
Yeah. No, he definitely was. And then some movies he was pretty good in them too. But my biggest thing with Mac, we definitely lost an OG in terms of comedy. I'll never forget his Def Jam stand-ups because those were like the funniest things I've ever seen, man.
Yeah, the story behind it where he was like, "Oh yeah, they booed like the last three comments," and I was like, "Absolutely not." And then he came out with it just, "I ain't scared of you." That shit was hilarious.
That's the first clip I've ever seen of him way back in stand-up, and he's like, "I ain't scared of you."
Yeah,
I'm
when he
fu-
did that, I was like,
hey,
I thought he was
hey.
doing a bit, and then I looked at the backstory. I was like, no, he was dead ass like talking to the crowd like in a tense motion because he didn't want to get booed.
I ain't scared of you, mofo's. You see, I'm blessed. And he's hovering around his groin area. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I pull my shit, this whole room will get dark. Oh my
Yeah.
god! I
If you haven't
still
seen it, anyone watching, there is a Def Jam 25th anniversary special on Netflix. I recommend you give it a watch. It's hilarious.
give it a watch on there. Just look up Def Jam, Bernie Mac, or any. There's even Chris Tucker. There's Chappelle Show. Just even on YouTube, just look it up. Def Jam comedy. Oh my god! Even today, you'll see so many funny ass comedians on there. But nah, when I saw that clip for the first time of him, I'm blessed. I pull it out. This whole room will get dark. I ain't scared of you.
Yeah, dude was a
that
legend.
that
And I'm sad that like apparently him and Steve Harvey had like a falling out right before he got sick. And then
yeah.
apparently they tried to work out a second Kings of Comedy tour. Him and Steve got cool and then he passed like as they were planning like a reunion tour.
I feel like that's always the case, man. Like every time. They always die at such a not an inconvenient time, but like such a bad time when they got something ready to come up again and whatnot. The same thing as like, when Easy E died, NWA was talking about
Yeah,
getting back
NWA was
together and
about to
making
get back
music.
together and then he passed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, but I'll tell you what, he's definitely missed. Like we mentioned before, as an OG of comedy. On that DVD box of the Kings of Comedy, is he the only one still alive? Is he the only one dead?
Yeah, Steve Harvey's still around, D.L. Hughley's still around, Cedric the Entertainer's still around. They've all got radio and TV shows and they've all been flourishing.
Yeah.
So I feel like Bernie would
I
still be doing good, if not better than all three, if he was still around.
yeah. I saw Cedric perform live. That motherfucker's funny too.
Yeah, I saw his
But
last stand.
but
Dude, him and DL
definitely
are hilarious. And then
yeah.
Steve's
And then Steve
retired.
Harvey got everything else. He got what's it called?
Family Feud and all
What's
these
that?
other shows.
Family Feud. He's got his talk show. Yeah, man. But I'll tell you what. Rest in peace to Bernie, man. It'll be 11 years Friday. Um, Everybody miss you, man. Oh man, what an OG,
Yeah.
OG right
R.I.P.
there.
Mac, man. We're low on time, so do you want to give your final thoughts on the movie and your score?
8 out of 10 for me. Not my favorite Tarantino movie, but it's an 8 out of 10 because I dug the whole '69 setup, the music, the atmosphere, Hollywood. Little bit long in my taste, but I think I'll get a better understanding of it. And I'll appreciate it a little bit more the second time around.
6. 5 points just for it being Tarantino. 5 points for being a Tarantino film. -4 because I don't know what I didn't know what the shit was going on for like 2 hours. Like someone who comes into this blind, not knowing about the Manson thing, like me, I'm just baffled. I'm like, what's up with Brad Pitt not giving a crap about getting fired all the time, not getting work? Why is Leo crying so much? What's up with the hippies? Why does this keep getting tense only for nothing to happen?
Yeah.
The ending was
Hey man,
satisfying, but I don't
Bruce
know.
Lee fight in the last half hour gave it to
Yeah,
me.
the
I was
last half
happy with
hour
that.
did it for me, and I was like, everything else is just like we could have got here a lot easier. What's next week? Also looks dead. What's out that we could go see?
Oh man, next week not a whole lot because everybody's prepping for one Labor Day weekend, and then there's really not a whole lot until November or December.
I think the only thing that comes out in like later this month is It, but that's in like 2 weeks.
I think it comes out Labor Day. No,
It's like late. It's either late August, early September. I do not remember. If anything, we could just talk about it off air, and we'll surprise everybody next week.
yeah, there you go. We'll surprise everybody next week. There's definitely some movies we can't check out, but you never know. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. We love y'all. I'm your man Tony. This is my boy Tafari. Catch us next week.
We out.
Surprise! You don't know what's gonna happen. Let's go.